There are three myths that I constantly see people talk about when describing their trials and tribulations with offshoring. The first myth that you may encounter is time. We don't have time to onboard offshore. We don't have time to work with offshore teammates. The reality is this is a myth because no matter who comes into your business, you need to onboard them. You need to spend time with them. The difference is that you probably haven't created a standard operating procedure for this role and the tasks and the responsibilities. So you find it a little easier to onboard somebody that might be physically coming into your office or has the same cultural experiences as you. But ultimately, that's not really true, because if you had documented the standard operating procedures, anyone from around the world could follow the rules of the road that you've described. So then the next is communication. Communication, you say, well, there's going to be a language barrier. English isn't their first language. But then you first have to ask yourself, well, does every role and responsibility in my organization need to have perfect English speaking with our customers? That's probably not true. In fact, there's many support situations. Marketing, it could be in demand generation using email or LinkedIn. This could be in customer support, handling support tickets. This could be in DevOps or product innovation or engineering. All of a sudden, you start to recognize there's an entire support layer that I'm paying way too much for, when ultimately anyone from around the world could be handling this work. And as long as we can have normal business-to-business conversations internally, they're not customer-facing. And even if they are customer-facing, you haven't actually checked out every region of the world that might have the same dialect as us here in North America, such as the Philippines, that has incredible English as a first language for many of the Western world serving teammates. And then the last now is quality. And the myth is, well, they can't do it as great as somebody in my office or onshore. And that's just not true. You have to remember that in places like India, they produce more engineers than anywhere else in the world. So you have the highest concentration of talent in the world in engineering in India. What about marketing? In Bangladesh, as an example, you have faster growth there than anywhere else in the world. So all of a sudden, the cohorts of talent, marketing talent in Dhaka, Bangladesh is actually greater than in your city, wherever that might be in the world. And so quality is based on how you first define what are the rules of the road and the situations that you need help with. That's why I'm a huge believer of documenting it in what we call a standard operating procedure. And then from there, measuring the benchmarks of executing against those tasks and responsibilities that have been defined. But quality as well, we're just better at it here than they are there, that's just completely false, because at the end of the day, there are millions and millions and millions of talented people around the world executing the same roles and responsibilities somewhere else in the world. You just need to know how to find them. I hope that this helps.